Hello students, I hope you are taking care of your health, and this is the video number 4 in the series of control coordination. I hope you have seen all the 3 videos and then only come to this video for endocrine system, because in this video we are going to study more about the endocrine system in our body. So in this particular flow chart you can see it that all the body functions are managed and governed by these endocrine system glands. So first, in case of growth of your body is basically done by the master gland called pituitary gland. Okay, write down the word pituitary gland. So it is a master gland. We'll know about it more in detail as we proceed in the tutorial. Similarly, this gland also help in maintaining water balance in body. Then in case of production cycle, it is again by the same master gland because it governs the working of testes and ovaries, the other two organs or the endocrine system components. Then the most important part among them, the metabolism of a body, is governed, managed by thyroid gland. Then the calcium and glucose level in the body is again governed by these thyroid, pancreas and parathyroid. So you can see all these names and you have to write it them. And then the response to stress is managed by adrenal glands. So these are some of the glands that we are going to read them in detail. Now this is the photo shot of your body line that illustrate that where these glands are basically present in your body. So you can see the pineal gland is well inside the head zone. Then we have a hypothalamus part that we have read in the brain segment of tutorial. Then this master gland is again pituitary gland in the head zone. If you come into the neck zone, we have thyroid, in the chest we have thymus. So you must know that location of these glands in the body line. Then pancreas near your stomach zone, then on kidney we have adrenal glands, and then we have those testes and ovaries for the reproductive cycles. So please locate these locations and put them in your mind for the reference. Now this is again the same topic that we are going to read about now. Now let us see what are these glands and how they are differentiated. So basically we have two main parts of these glands. One is called endocrine, other is called exocrine. The third part of the gland, we will read it as the tutorial proceed. Okay. Underline the definition for these both types of gland. Some of endocrine glands, they do not have ducts. Underline the word, they do not have ducts. Okay. So these glands do not have ducts and transport their secretions, transport the secretion directly to the site of action through blood. That means they make the hormone and they are directly transported into the site through the blood. To underline the example for them, so adrenal gland is one of them, adrenal glands, pituitary glands, the example for that. For exocrine glands, so these glands have ducts to pass the secretions. Okay, so they have the duct, so collect it, store it. For example, is the sweat gland or the liver one. So these are some examples for exocrine gland. So the third one we will study in due course of time is called mixocrine gland. Okay, so as the name suggests, some of you know that what it could be. So let us wait and watch for that. So basically now you should know that we have two main types here, endocrine and exocrine. So what they secrete? So as basically we know, they secrete the hormones. So underline the definition for hormones. Okay, the hormones are chemicals secreted by endocrine glands. Okay, so they are secreted by endocrine glands and carried by the blood to the organs to regulate the physiological process. Okay, so they are transported to by the blood to the respective site. The organs on which the hormones act, for which they are been made, you can call, they are referred as target organs. Okay, so they have target cells having receptors on the surface, so they recognize the respective hormone. So underline these three terms. So these target organs have target cells having receptors on them, so they identify the hormone and then the function is carried out. Now this is a simple illustration for the process to understand that which gland produce which hormone and what function it perform in brief. So hypothalamus is secrete a hormone called ADH, okay. Write down in short form ADH, stand for antidiuretic hormone. So this is the important one. So it regulates the fluid balance inside the kidney, okay. We have read about in the excretory system of humans. So ADH play a vital role in the fluid balance inside kidneys. Then the master gland called pituitary gland, one of the function is it release growth hormone that of course regulate the body growth. Then we have the third one referred as thyroid gland. They make the hormone called thyroxine. Some of you might have read the name thyroxine. So we will study about this in detail also. So this thyroxine regulates the metabolism, body metabolism that is. Then of course the pancreas. So this pancreatic gland release the hormone called insulin, most important part, and glucagon, okay, glucagon. So underline these two names, though we will have it again in the coming tutorials. So these glucagon, they all regulate the blood sugar level, okay. Then the adrenal gland, we have just told you. So they produce the hormone called epinephrine. So write down the word epinephrine, okay, P-H-R-I-N-E. So epinephrine, and it regulates the most important part, the heart rate and blood pressure. Then we have the testes. So it produces a hormone called testosterone. So these names do come in your examination. So write down that secretion called testosterone, okay, testosterone, and that helps in development of sperm and male features. So as we will take this topic, we'll let you know more in detail. And then of course the ovaries, and these ovaries produce these two hormones called estrogen, E-S-T-R-O-G-E-N, and progesterone, okay, progesterone, okay, the progesterone, this again could be new name for you. So that helps in the development of eggs and other female characters and features. So please pause this stuff and write down these secretions and their functions. Now first of all, as I have told you, these hormones are the chemical substances and they are secreted by special tissues, and of course they help in maintaining, underline this number, help in maintaining body growth and development, metabolism and sexual functions, reproduction, and when they are released in more or less quantity, then they have different scenario that we will study them one by one as they come by to us. Now first of all, the first gland for that, the hormones of thyroid. We have just told you that it releases two hormones, one is called T3 and T4. T3 is not in your syllabi, write down this number called thyroxine and it helps in controlling the metabolism of the body, okay. So thyroxine, and then these hormones regulate weight, it determines our energy level, internal body temperature, skin and hair, underline, and all these points should be written down in tabular form, so you should not forget them. So that is as far as thyroid is concerned. Then the one called estrogen, we have just read it. So they are released by the ovaries, they are responsible for reproduction, underline two terms, menstruation and menopause. So we will read these two words again in the next chapters. Then underline this term, if it is more, say I have just told you sometimes they are released in less, sometimes in more quantity. So in excess of estrogen in the body increases the risk of breast cancer, then uterine cancer, it can also fluctuate the mood, and in case of level is less in the body, and this estrogen can lead to acne or skin lesions. So there are a lot of problem if the production is not as per the required quantity or number. Then comes the next hormone called progesterone, and this is again I have told you produced by these ovaries. So, the placenta, when women get the pregnancy stuff, and they play a vital role. It also plays a role in maintaining pregnancy, that I have told you. It helps the body for that process and regulates the monthly cycle. Okay. And the next one for the hormone category is adrenaline. So, underline this number, adrenaline, ADRENALINE. So, sometime we have this note on this adrenaline concept. Okay. So, in this case, it is again, as I have told you, they secreted by, underline the word, medulla of adrenal gland. Now, I should locate where the gland is. So, medulla of adrenal gland. So, it is also referred as emergency hormone. Why it is called so? Sometimes we ask you, because it initiates the quick reaction which makes the individual to think and respond quickly. So, it increases the metabolic rate, then it dilates the blood vessel, and during stressful condition it releases into the bloodstream, and hence we act according to the emergency conditions. So, we call it as emergency hormone also. Then we have the hormone called growth hormone, which we all are familiar with. So, this hormone is basically having 190 amino acids, that is a type of protein, or these are the protein molecules. Basically, we also call it a protein hormone. So, write it down. One mark question sometime we ask you, name the protein hormone. Okay. So, growth hormone is also referred as protein hormone. Okay. So, it stimulates the growth, that is the most part of it, cell reproduction, cell regeneration, and boosting our metabolism. So, underline all these 4 features. So, it helps in the growth, reproductive cycle or cell regeneration, and boosting metabolism. So, that is as far as your growth hormone is concerned. So, as I have told you before the start of this particular topic, that we have, or we do have the third type of gland. So, underline that name, called exocrine. Okay. So, this gland have both the exocrine and endocrine function. And underline some examples of exocrine. So, pancreas is one of them, testes, ovaries, they all perform the function of exocrine and endocrine. For example, in case of pancreas, so when they perform endocrine function and secrete insulin, and it also act as exocrine gland and secrete pancreatic juice. So, we have read this topic in that digestive system also, that you should be knowing about it. So, endocrine glands, we already have told you, they secrete the secretion into the blood. We have just seen that topic, directly into the blood. So, they won't have any ducts in them, and the chemical substance, underline the word, the chemical substance released by these endocrine glands are called hormones, and they are transported through blood. So, in case of the next, these will again give you the answers that what the glands we are reading it up. So, one of the important gland that was the adrenal gland, which is present on the top of the kidneys. I have just told you. Now, underline the function if you have just missed it. So, these glands secretes adrenal hormones, and what they do? They regulate your heart rate, they regulate your breathing rate, they maintain the blood pressure, and of course, carbohydrate metabolism, one of the most important part of it. So, as a result, these hormones are being told to us and told to you, and in brief, these are some terms that will be act as your recollecting center. Okay. So, just check out the names and the some terms that we already have read and can be revised. So, first of the gland was the hypothalamus. So, its a major hormone is ADH. I have told you, underline the name again, it is a antidiuretic hormone. Then it also secretes oxytocin, underline the word oxytocin, and various hormones stimulate the functioning of pituitary gland. So, there is new word called oxytocin. So, that is again secrete by this hypothalamus part of the system. Then it also influences the nervous and hormonal system. So, hypothalamus basically play a big role in endocrine system. Then the master gland, sometimes we ask you why it is called master gland, referred as pituitary gland. So, underline some names which are referred in the book also. One is LH, okay. Full form is luteinizing, LUTEINISING. So, write down this name luteinizing hormone secreted by pituitary gland, okay. Second is FSH. So, write down the name follicle stimulating hormone. So, these names are new. So, please write them quite clearly. First one was LH, then it FSH, then is TSH, that is again thyroid. So, that means this segment stimulate thyroid to produce thyroxine, the hormone. So, it is called thyroid stimulating hormone. Then I just told you oxytocin, then ADH, I just told you antidiuretic hormone, and the new name again coming for you is called ACTH. So, underline the name adreno C for cortico, CORTICO. So, adrenocortico. This is a new name for you. Trophic hormone, okay. TROPHIC, adrenocorticotrophic hormone. So, you should know both the full form ADH and ACTH, and hence pituitary gland help in number of cycles of body line, reproduction, the growth cycle, childbirth and breastfeeding. So, hence is perform approximately all the functions of the body. So, we call it as a master gland. Then comes the other gland in the brain called pineal gland. It produces a hormone called melatonin. So, write it down MELATONIN. So, these names are new for us. So, you should be noting them down properly. The melatonin, and it also regulates or influences your sleep cycle. Then we already read about thyroid glands. So, I have told you in case of thyroid, the T4 is in your syllabi called thyroxine. Write it down, and there is one new word here called calcitonin. So, calcitonin. Write down some names. So, they help in the absorption of various salts in the body, in particular the maintain the bone health by absorbing calcium and metabolism. Then we have the parathyroid gland. So, again these hormone influence, as I have told you, the calcium and vitamin D. So, because they help in the regulation of these two mineral and the vitamin absorption to make our bone healthy and stronger. Then the next one is adrenal glands. So, it produces the hormone we have been letting you know called adrenaline. Again the name came here, and these adrenaline hormone, apart from that it also give you cortisol. Underline the word cortisol. So, this name should be properly written down in your respective notes copy, and it influences stress response and of course the blood pressure, and the most important man is the salt control intake or salt balance in your body. Then we have left with the other two hormones that are referred as, in case of pancreas, I have told you it acts as both the exocrine glands, endo and exo. So, in major hormones for them is insulin, that we all know. Sometime we do ask you about the second one also called glucagon. So, write down the name glucagon, okay. The second hormone you can call it, and then it influences the blood sugar level. As we know that if it goes down or go haywire, we suffer from disease called diabetes. So, that name should be known to you. Then in case of the ovaries and testes, so ovaries, as you know, it is in the females only. So, the major hormones produced by them is estrogen and progesterone, I have just told you, and influences the features of female characteristic growth line. In males, the testis is there and the hormone released by it is called testosterone. This name, write it down again, testosterone. Okay, we have already told you on this stuff in this particular video, and it help in the manage the features of masculine stuff. So again, you go through the whole presentation one by one, write down the notes in proper systematized format, revise them, and make sure that revise the whole video so that you should understand the topic well in advance and properly. So take care of your health. Bye. Take care.